Coming up, we learn why Tzu Chi volunteer Ke Degui remains steadfast on the Tzu Chi path despite all odds. We find out why sedimentation in Taiwan's reservoirs can have a serious impact on citizens' lives. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. In Tainan, Taiwan, a fire broke out in a residential home in the early morning hours of April 6. Only one resident of the home made it out alive. Hearing the news of the tragedy, Tzu Chi volunteers immediately mobilized to offer assistance.
Firefighters reached the third-floor balcony to rescue the trapped woman. She's the only survivor of this sudden fire. Both her mother and younger sister did not leave the scene alive.
After we broke down the door, we quickly went in to search for them, only to discover two charred bodies in the living room.
On the early morning of April 6th, a fire broke out at this home in Tainan. The fire was suspected to have started in the praying chamber on the first floor. The homeowner and her youngest daughter perished trying to extinguish the blaze on their own, while the second daughter ran up to the third floor and was successfully rescued. Learning of the tragedy, Tzu Chi volunteers came to offer their assistance.
The things inside the house have been destroyed, so she might not have access to the money in the bank. We gave her some consolation cash to relieve her immediate needs.
The perished homeowner was a single mother who raised 3 daughters on her own. Tzu Chi volunteers will surely do all they can to help the surviving family members overcome the tragedy.
Next, we meet DaAi volunteer Ke Degui, who has been walking the Tzu Chi path for 18 years. Facing the recent controversy regarding Tzu Chi, Ke felt depressed and under pressure. Thankfully, with a change of mindset, she quickly regained the courage to continue volunteering on behalf of the organization. Early in the morning, Tzu Chi volunteer Ke Degui and her team are here at a recycling station in Keelung, Taiwan, to document the efforts of recycling volunteers. Despite having to work long hours the day before, Ke remains focused on her task.
Over the years, the Tzu Chi Foundation has been encouraging members of the public to recycle plastic bags. Every Monday, more than 10 people come here to sort recyclables. I think it is my responsibility to document their good work.
To dedicate herself fully as a media volunteer, Ke Degui takes on 2 part-time jobs instead of a full-time job because she wants to have more time to do volunteer work. There were times that Ke had to get up early in the morning to deliver more than 200 newspapers before heading out to conduct home visitations. After finishing her volunteer duties, Ke then worked at a nursing home until late in the evening.
One time I called Ke to ask her a question about home visitations and heard that she was coughing badly. I asked her where she was at, and Ke told me that she was attending a seminar in Hualien. I told her to take better care of herself before shouldering Tzu Chi's missions. Ke said it is her responsibility to carry out Tzu Chi's missions.
A lot of people told me that I should work a full-time job instead of working 2 part-time jobs. I told them that it is my duty to shoulder the organization's missions. It is okay if I sleep less or have less free time.
Facing the public's recent doubts regarding Tzu Chi, Ke Degui remains steadfast on the Bodhisattva path, choosing to believe in her initial aspiration.
Of course, I felt sad. I kept asking how come the news portrayed us so differently. All I know is that my fellow counterparts and I dedicate ourselves wholeheartedly to doing good deeds. My Dharma family and I offered each other words of encouragement because we needed to stick together through this difficult time, or else our hearts will feel restless.
After finishing her volunteer duties around 4 in the evening, Ke quickly travels to a nursing home to begin her second job. Despite feeling pressure due to the recent controversy regarding Tzu Chi, Ke believes that everything will be okay.
The controversy regarding the organization does not affect me. I have remained steadfast in my decision to volunteer on behalf of Tzu Chi. I think this incident serves as a reminder for all of us to watch our conduct closely.
The news and talk shows said a lot of things about Tzu Chi. However, Ke Degui told us that everything will be okay and gave us tremendous encouragement. She said that as long as we stick together through this difficult time, the future will be better.
Keeping the just do it philosophy close to heart has helped Ke Degui walk firmly on the Tzu Chi path for the past 18 years, in spite of various difficulties and challenges.
My media volunteer team leader told me that she cried a lot because of the recent controversy with Tzu Chi. I told her that I cried a lot and felt the same too. However, I believe everything will be okay.
With her Dharma family by her side, Ke Degui knows the future lies ahead of her is full of beauty and hope. In San Shui Po, Hong Kong, the old and impoverished are in desperate need of help. Thus, the government has rolled out a plan to help these poor solitary seniors. The program is headed by the YWCA, and as they are understaffed, the YWCA asked Tzu Chi to help with home visitations to further understand the needs of the elderly.
In Hong Kong's Sham Shui Po district, Tzu Chi volunteers are visiting an 80-year-old senior who lives on the 9th floor of a building without an elevator, which is not unusual for this part of town. Crammed inside the senior's tiny apartment, volunteers find that there is no kitchen here, only a place to sleep.
In San Shui Po district, the difference between the poor and the rich is increasingly widening. The elderly are spending most of their money on rent, leaving them with difficulties in paying for meals or even having a social life.
It is evident that even in the affluent Hong Kong, there are hidden corners of poverty. According to UN research reports, Hong Kong has the largest rich-to-poor ratio of any developed country. Seniors 65 and over make up 33.9% of the country's poor. Often unable to pay for the high rent on suitable housing, many seniors can only afford to live in cheaper add-on rooftop-style apartments in old buildings. The government thus rolled out a care plan headed by the Christian organization YWCA to help these residents with subsidies. As the YWCA is understaffed, they called on Tzu Chi to help with home visitations. As they visit each household with aid given by the Hong Kong Parliament, volunteers also encourage everyone to attend a free clinic later on.
We're all familiar with the idea of counting our blessings upon witnessing suffering. However, actually seeing those less fortunate really made me realize how blessed I am.
We really need to be grateful that we had the chance to witness such suffering in these affluent days. In the future, when I'm helping out in a community, I know now which forgotten corners need my help and care.
In total, volunteers separated into 17 teams and visited 30 households, helping the less fortunate to the best of their ability.
In Taoyuan's Daxi, after learning a poor couple on Tzu Chi's watch list encountered a mishap, volunteers quickly came to tend to the family. They also decided to clean up the couple's filthy home to improve their living condition. At this old brick home in Taoyuan's Daxi lived Tzu Chi recipient Mr. Zhang and his wife. Unfortunately, Mr. Zhang accidentally scolded himself badly the other day when making porridge.
After the accident, I told him that I'd rather go hungry in the future. Seeing him like this breaks my heart.
Tzu Chi volunteers have come here today to help the couple clean up their home before the summer arrives. Besides providing tangible aid, volunteers will also visit regularly to keep the couple company.
We want to keep Mr. Zhang company and to lower his guard against others, so he may learn to open up and trust in people.
It sure feels a lot more comfortable now. It's cleaner and smells nicer inside. It's no longer filthy like before. Thank you, Tzu Chi, for helping out.
Volunteers have also brought the couple a new mattress to replace their old one. Working together as one, they have successfully improved the Zhang's living condition. In Gold Coast, Australia, Tzu Chi volunteers recently provided a vegetarian feast to Coast Guard members to promote the benefits of vegetarianism, while in Canada, the Tzu Chi Canada chapter and Surrey office held Qingming memorial ceremonies so that overseas Chinese could still chant Buddhist sutras and pray on behalf of their ancestors.
The Chinese traditionally remember and honor their ancestors during Qingming Festival. However, there are those who cannot return to their hometown on this holiday. Tzu Chi volunteers in Canada invited overseas Chinese to join them in sutra chanting and prayer on behalf of their ancestors. Many took the opportunity to fulfill these filial duties.
For many years, I have been unable to return to sweep my ancestors' graves. It has been my unfulfilled wish. I'm grateful that Tzu Chi held this prayer ceremony. Now I have an opportunity to honor my ancestors. I'm very grateful.
Tzu Chi volunteers have been serving in Canada for 23 years. Every year, they hold ceremonies around Qingming Festival so that overseas Chinese can honor their ancestors.
非常感恩 I am grateful to the volunteers for holding this event. I hope to dedicate the merit to my family in Taiwan.
Tzu Qings and students of Tzu Chi Academy also performed sign language songs from the kneeling lamp at the ceremony. Many participants were deeply touched by their performance.
觉得蛮感动的，因为
I'm quite moved, especially when I was watching the performance. I was so touched that I wanted to cry. I live overseas, so I really miss my family.
学的孝顺。
I learned about filial piety and ways to help others. I think it is all very good.
The ceremony gave overseas Chinese the opportunity to remember their own family back at home, while also reminding them that they are part of a bigger family in Tzu Chi. While in Gold Coast, Australia, Tzu Chi volunteers provided a vegetarian luncheon at the local Coast Guard's office. They prepare delicious Chinese vegetarian dishes, hoping to promote vegetarianism's benefits for the health of the body and the planet. The event was planned after Fleet Commander Ken Stanley visited Jingsi Hall earlier this year.
I am proud and honoured and also humbled to have them. I look forward to a long and future relationship with the Foundation, but may I read something from the Master's book? I believe that we should all, every single day is like a blank page of our life. Every person we meet and every event we encounter is a vivid essay.
The 13 leaders of different rescue teams listened to the volunteers as they explained the manufacturing process of eco-blankets. Volunteers also gave each a book of Jingsi aphorisms, instant rice, and socks, hoping their guests will not only learn more about Tzu Chi's eco-friendly products, but also bring home the principles of humanistic culture.
Taiwan is coping with one of the worst droughts in decades, and the country's reservoirs are quickly drying up. Unfortunately, the problem doesn't simply lie in uneven rainfall due to climate change. It has also to do with the reduction in the reservoir's water capacity due to sedimentation. We find out more.
As an island, Taiwan is limited in natural resources, but thanks to the abundant rainfall, the country was able to launch its economy. To tap into this natural resource, hydraulic infrastructure has been installed along the country's main waterways, with reservoirs being the largest structures.
We have built 50 reservoirs. Theoretically, we hope they can provide us with 8 billion tons of water a year.
The reservoirs gave rise to the country's farming communities, metropolises, and science and industrial parks, while also sustaining the life of millions of residents. But driven by greed, the overutilization of natural resources has led to disastrous consequences. Now Taiwan is troubled by uneven rainfall due to climate change and severe sedimentation of its reservoirs.
That line there is where the water level would be if the reservoir was full. Down at the bottom, there's quite a lot of sediment. See the gray-colored mud? That's it.
Without the March monsoon, the Shimen Reservoir's water level is at the lowest in its history, while revealing hidden problems beneath its water's surface.
Further down, the problem of sedimentation gets worse. With the water being so low and mud everywhere, hiking up would need at least half an hour.
With so little water and so much mud, neither men nor boats can travel here. Amuping used to be a pier, but with sedimentation being the worst here, everything has changed.
This is where the water would be if the reservoir is full. Before the mud showed up, when the water dried up, at least we could go in and out, walking on solid surfaces. But now that there is mud, we just can't do that anymore. Between 2003 and 2010, the sedimentation at Amuping was as high as 20 meters.
The reservoir's original capacity was 300 million cubic meters, but with 1/3 of it occupied by sediment, the Shimen Reservoir has become the nation's most limited reservoir. Unfortunately, many other reservoirs all over Taiwan share a similar fate. It seems the country's reservoirs have become accustomed to the problem of sedimentation.
Upstream of the reservoir, we typically clear away some 400,000 cubic meters of sediment a year. Downstream, we rely on suction to excavate sediment, which doesn't cost us extra. To dispose 1 cubic meter of sediment is about $20. So dredging costs us $8 million a year.
In the past 13 years, Taiwan's reservoirs have cleared away some 68.31 million cubic meters worth of sediment, which are roughly the equivalent of 5 Taipei 101s. On average, 5.25 million cubic meters are excavated every year. However, all this effort may be for naught.
There are roughly 100 million cubic meters worth of sediment in the Shimen Reservoir, which means 265 million tons in weight. Now, a dump truck can clear away 20 tons at a time, so the total number of dump trucks needed could circle the Earth 1.8 times. Plus, the project would carry a hefty price tag of $3.2 billion.
That is indeed a heavy price to pay. Unfortunately, changing rainfall patterns due to climate change will only exacerbate the problem.
To date, 1/3 of Taiwan's reservoir capacity is occupied by sediment. This means we have 2.6 billion tons less water to use a year. By 2030, when the capacity is down to 1/2, we will be short 4 billion tons of water.
This means about 4 million people will be without water to use, which poses a serious threat to the country on all levels, as Taiwan's reservoirs die off slowly due to sedimentation.
Recently, a group of students and faculty at the Ke Degui Senior High School in central New Taipei City, Taiwan, visited the Tzu Chi Banqiao ground to learn how to sort recyclables correctly. At the Tzu Chi Banqiao grounds in New Taipei City, students at the Ke Degui Senior High School are here to learn how to sort recyclables.
Bottles, cans, paper, and batteries. 1357. You'll know how to sort reusable items correctly at home when you recite this mnemonic phrase.
Our school has a recycling system, but I believe Tzu Chi volunteers can teach us how to sort recyclables more thoroughly. By partaking in this trip, I think my students will gain a valuable experience.
By trying their hands at sorting reusable items, students realize the importance of rinsing their recyclables before putting them into recycling bins.
At school, we just sort the recyclables according to their type. Coming here, I discovered that different types of plastic bags must be separated into the right categories. I also realized that reusable items need to be rinsed before being placed in bins.
Besides offering hands-on experience, the volunteers also prepare a clip and a time for question and answers to better pass on environmental concepts to the pupils.
From now on, I will drink less bottled water or pop. I will also use reusable cups more often.
We need to give reusable items a second lease on life, so no resources are wasted.
Thanks to the trip, students now know the importance of cherishing Earth's resources and have promised to spread the knowledge they have learned to even more people. In the Philippines, Tzu Chi decided to set up a recycling station in the bustling downtown area of Tacloban to help raise environmental awareness. To show their appreciation for Tzu Chi's help after Typhoon Haiyan, local volunteers came together to help put together the new station.
This abandoned building filled with rubbish can be described as creepy. In Tacloban, the Philippines, local volunteers have come together to help transform the building into a Tzu Chi recycling center. Having previously received help from Tzu Chi after Typhoon Haiyan, local volunteers strap on N95 masks to protect themselves from the dust and carry on Tzu Chi's work in their training uniforms.
We're cleaning up this abandoned building and turning it into a recycling center where people can sort recyclables safely.
Marami na ang nagpapa-pick up ng mga recyclables. So
it is time for us to set up a recycling center. As more and more people want to participate in recycling, people can start recycling as soon as the center is established.
Where there are more people, there will be more trash. With a new station situated in the busiest part of the city, volunteers hope more will be more inspired to join their cause.
The Tzu Chi Philippines chapter recently held a training class for scholarship recipients in Quezon City. During the seminar, a former recipient shared how he overcame financial difficulties and became a high school English teacher. Here's more.
Mama, ngayong nag-graduate na ako.
Mom, I have graduated. I can support our family now. You no longer have to work till midnight. I have realized my dream step by step.
With Tzu Chi's scholarship assistance, Edison was able to realize his dream. After graduating from university with a degree in teaching, he became an English teacher at a public high school. As the only college graduate in his family, Edison is his parents' pride and joy. Edison said that to lessen his family's financial burden, he worked part-time while in school. He worked as a street cleaner, fast food delivery man, and tutor. His story moved college student Lika, who also vowed to become the one who supports her family in the future.
I really want to help my family. I hope I can support my family financially and lessen my father's burden. Thanks to Tzu Chi's scholarship, I also want to help others. I hope in the future I will be able to donate to help other people.
When she received the scholarship, I told her to study hard because this is tremendous help for us. She also has a lot of ambition.
205 college students and college graduates, in addition to 119 elementary school students, joined the training class. During the class, Tzu Chi volunteers awarded students with perfect school attendance, encouraging all to have the confidence and resolve to reach their goals and dreams.
We go to Hong Kong and China at the end of the show, where Tzu Chi volunteers visited schools, companies, and communities to encourage members of the public to safeguard the planet by practicing recycling. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.